Hello, it's me again. I am here today at the launching, well I say the launching, we're not opening yet, the formation of my new zoo, Mr. Harris's Maths Zoo. The maths bit, there's going to be lots of maths involved in it. I'm going to need your help today and probably in the next few weeks if we're going to get this zoo set up. At the moment, the animals are just running wild all over my desk. And I'll be honest, wild animals on your desk, pretty dangerous stuff. I am a very dangerous person. I'm going to need your help. You're going to be learning how to help me in just a second. So how are you going to be able to help me? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, then if you're watching live, hi, I'm Mr. Harris, trying to get you through these long months of lockdown with some maths learning in a fun and friendly way. I will not apologise for the terrible jokes. I will not apologise for the fact that I dress up and I'm stupid, but I will try and make it so you all learn some maths. If you're coming back and watching this not live, then there's a whole series of videos. Hopefully this one will be interesting to you. Please leave questions in the comments. I will respond to everyone who gets in touch with me as best I can. So please do ask questions, find out things. I will always try and help you as best as I can. You can also contact me on the things on the screen. They are different ways to get in touch. So without further ado, it's time to go to the zoo. I'm not going to try and make everything rhyme, but that was fun. Here is our first starter activity. Our first starter activity today is all about ranking. You are going to be ranking these animals. You have to decide your ranking system. And I want you to come up with three or four or five different ranking systems. Why are you making them? Are you making them the biggest, strongest, best at show jumping, best at looking over gardens, the neighbour's fence to see what they're doing in the garden? All the different ranking systems you can come up with. Feel free to put something in the chat. While you're doing your ranking starter, I'm going to go and say some good mornings and some hellos. I also would love to see what you're coming up with in the chat, so do get involved. But if you're watching this not live, then add them to the comments. I'd love to see some things gradually being added to the comments. Good morning, Kyra. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Amber. Good morning, Advika. Good morning, Annie. And remember, please, to put your names because I'm still trying to learn which people come with which people. Good morning, Sharanya. Good morning, Ruby. Good morning, Andrew. I don't know whether Ruby and Andrew are Ruby and Andrew or whether they are children of Ruby and Andrew, but hello to everyone who is here. Does anyone have any ideas about what the ranking system they're going for? Which is the best? Which is the least good? What ranking system have you used? Good morning, Rashan. Good morning. Is Andrew? I was right. Yes. Right. I can't see much ranking. Good morning, Vera. Tallest to shortest. Giraffe, elephant, lion, zebra. Okay. Well, I can't see a problem with that at all. Remember, the whole point of these activities is to try and train you that there is not one right answer. There is lots of right answers depending on what the question is. Good morning, Lars. Right, let's move on. So, a reminder. I love receiving your work. I will always put stuff on the Monday wall at the end of the video. I'm going to put work from all the work I've received the previous week. So if you want to appear in that wall of work, do join in and send me stuff, either Facebook or email. I know I go on about it, but it's because I want your stuff. I want to involve you. I want this channel to be interactive. I want you to get involved. So, please do so. Here's a question for you. How many integer rectangles can you find with an area of 36 meters squared? What is an integer rectangle? Well, in order to find out, we probably need to head over to the whiteboard. You always have to make that little noise. If you're going to the whiteboard, you have to go otherwise it doesn't work properly. That's what I discovered because I was having problems with it earlier. But actually it's because you've got to go. So here we go. We're here. 36 meters squared. We want integer rectangles. Well, an integer is a whole number. not a whole number, a whole number. That's what integer means. So, I can see 1 here, which is going to be 9 by 4. By the way, if you don't want to just go see the answers, feel free right now to pause the video. If you're watching live, you might decide you don't want to, but you might be quickly, frantically trying to do this on paper in front of you, trying to do it quicker than Mr. Harris. That's entirely fine. If you're watching it afterwards, feel free to pause it. Have a go at this task. How many can you come up with? I think we've also got a tight... Imagine this enclosure. It's not going to be the nicest enclosure for the animals. 1 metre by 36 metres. Because 1 times 36 is 36. We've also got a 2 by 18 metres. 2 metres by 18 metres. I think there's also a 3 by 12. Would also make that work. And there's also one more. And I'm going to get moaned at over this one. I'm putting it in red. Because I'm going to put one that is 6 by 6. And to do this, I'm going to address the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I get a lot of people in my classes moan at me when I get to this point. Sir, that's not a rectangle, that's a square. And this is where I have to explain to you that a rectangle isn't always a square. But a square is always a rectangle. It's a special type. It's a bit like saying bananas and oranges are both fruit. But not all fruit are bananas and oranges. There are other fruits. Rectangle is a group which square belongs to. It's a special rectangle where they're both the same. So please don't shout at me in the comments and say, oh, you were wrong. Because I'm telling you the truth. It's true. What I've just demonstrated to you, flying back in here, is that there are 5 different integer rectangles, all with an area of 36 metres squared. This is going to be very important for what the task we have to do today is. I need your help. I am building the enclosures for my zoo animals. As I'm sure you've just realised, I have all these animals: giraffe, zebra, this is an ibex, I have tiger. These are all real animals, by the way. They're see, very, very dangerous animals. I've got an elephant, chimpanzee, and a panda. I've got all these animals ready. They all need enclosures, and I've also got a bear. That's bear funny. Now, these animals are all going to need enclosures. You're going to need to design these enclosures and draw them out for me using pencil and ruler. And need to show me and work out some things on the sheets that you can download in the description below. When we come back, you will find that I have missed off all this information. I want you to watch the videos as well. You're going to need to fill in the information from this select screen onto your sheets, because I've given you the information you need to put into those sheets. And then you have to look at the special criteria, because I've also told you what shape they have to be. Now, the first 5 are designed for anyone year 5, year 6. You can carry on if you're year 5 and 6 and want to have a go at the hard ones, that's fine. The grey ones are designed for sort of year 9s and year 8s who want to push themselves. Lars, I'd expect you to be doing all of the enclosures here. What we need to do is we need to design enclosures that fit the criteria and reach that thing. So I'm giving you the amount of fence and the area of the enclosures. How are we going to go about doing that? Let me demonstrate. So, if we want to do this, all we have to do is, if I say you've got 50 metres of fence and I need an area of 28 metres squared, that's not going to work. An area of 200 metres squared. I have got various options. I could break my fence into 5 and 5 and 20 and 20.
But that enclosure has an area of 100, and I wanted an area of 200. So that isn't right. And no one's going to notice if I quickly change that to 100. We'll change that out to 150. Are they? No one's noticed at all. Mr. Harris has changed that while you're all just... Look, is that a badger over there? So we're now trying to do... What if it was a different one? Okay. What if it was 10 by 15? And 15 and 10. 10 and 15 is 25. 35. 50. This time it does make 150. So this one works. So you're going to have a play around with different measurements to try and make the amount of fence you've got create the area you have to have. And you'll neatly draw it out with pencil and ruler and label what it is. It does not need to be to scale. Notice, as soon as I write these measurements on, it doesn't need to be to scale. If I was doing it to scale, I'd have to do these huge drawings. Excuse me, I'm about to... Excuse me. Got the sneezes. Got hay fever already. How can you get hay fever? I haven't got any hay in the garden. Must be all the hay from the penguins. It's because I've been down the zoo, obviously. So if we go back into my studio, you can see we've got all the measurements that you're going to need to add to the sheets for the giraffe, zebra, chimpanzee, panda and elephant. The elephant, the instructions will show you that it's going to have to be different. So you're going to have to work out the missing bit. Anytime you see a question mark, that's for you to work out and write your answers on the sheet. And I will need an accompanying sheet with your design for the zoo, because you're not going to put all these enclosures together. We've got to have a path going around the zoo. So, what about the harder ones? Well, we've also got the three harder animals want some slightly odder shapes. They are going to need you to apply some interesting bits of maths. You're going to need to use circumference of a circle backwards. You're going to need to use Pythagoras to work out the distance round the triangle and the area of a triangle. You're going to need to also use area of a trapezium and another bit of Pythagoras. This is why I've said this is for year 9s and 8s to really push themselves, and that's why I'm challenging Lars to do so. You don't have to do it if you don't have to have those in your zoo. You can have whatever shapes you want in your zoo, but I want to know the areas and the amount of fence that you're going to be using, because I've got to buy this fence. So let's be honest, I'm the one paying the money. The least you can do is tell me how much I need. So these are the information. The ibex has exactly 50 metres of fence, and you can see this is what happens when you get a bear or a couple of bears in a nice enclosure. They're happy. They've got a little pond. They've got grass. They play around. They frolic. If we want frolicking bears, okay. So I need you to not complain, oh, he's got me doing all the design. No, I've told you what the zoo things are. I've got to go out and sort out other things about the zoo. At the moment, I'm trying not to get bitten by these animals that are on the desk. Trying to stop the tiger eating the elephant and that sort of thing. So, Chimp, get down from there, please. So you need to be carrying on with that. Okay. So, what does that mean? Well, that's the main thing I need us to do today. The main challenge is a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff where you're going away and doing that. So there's not much beyond this. It's not a long video because a lot of the things you're going to be doing are going to be working with that. But I wouldn't leave you stranded. If you want to try the harder things, I'm going to talk through them now. However, these are going to be harder. It could be level 8, level 9, year 8, year 9 type stuff. If this next bit confuses you, please don't panic. I'm quite happy if you just stick to the white shapes and work on those. You can go off and do that now. Or, if you really like a challenge, forgive me, I'm a little bit sniffly today. Don't know why. It's just a normal cold. Must maybe be some hay fever, I don't know what. So, here's what I was trying to explain to you. One of the things has a right-angled triangle, and it gives you what the sides are. If we imagine it's 7 and 7, we want to know what the perimeter and what the area is. The area is the amount of space inside for the animal, and the perimeter is the amount of fence I need to buy. So, inside we know it's half times base times height, which is half times 7 times 7 which is 24.5 metres squared. The calculations don't have to be integers now. The perimeter, we need to know what this is. Pythagoras tells us, we did Pythagoras a few weeks ago. Pythagoras tells us we take the 7 squared is 49. And remember, if you're year 5, don't be scared by this. This is just for the higher people. If they want to learn it, you can watch it, you can understand maybe some of it. This is 98, and what we have to do is we square root 98. So this is going to be 9.9 metres. So in order to get the distance around the outside, 7 add 9.9 is going to equal 23.9 metres of fence. I'll probably order for 24 metres, to be honest, but it's how we find the fence for a triangular one. What about if I'm doing a trapezium? The trapezium, all the information for the trapezium is in the question. Here is an isosceles trapezium. It mentions isosceles trapezium. Isosceles trapezium means it's the same length there and there. And what I like to do is do a dotted line up there. Let's say it tells me that the height is 3, and it tells me that we've got 3 there, 4 there, sorry. Still getting used to using my whiteboard. I'm getting better at it. That's 4. That's 10. That's 10. That's 3. In order to find the area, we've got half times top plus bottom times height. Half times top plus bottom times height. Finds the trapezium area right. Finds the trapezium area right. 10 plus 18 on this bottom. 4 add 10 add 4 is 18. Times the height of 3. Remember, you can pause this at any time if you want to have a go yourself. That's going to be 28. 14 times 3 is going to be 42 metres squared. We also need to know how much fence I need, so I need to know what this side is there. And because it's the same as that, we only need to do it once. To do so, I'm going to magnify, put a magnifying glass just around that triangle at the end. 3, 4. And we use Pythagoras again because it's a right angled triangle. 3 squared equals 9, 4 squared equals 16, 5 squared equals 20. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing 5 squared. And 3 squared, we add them together, don't we? We then square root 25, so the answer is 5 metres. So we can now write that in as 5 metres there and 5 metres there. So the perimeter, which is the amount of fence, is going to equal 10 plus 5 plus 18 plus 5, because we only want the outside. The 3 doesn't count on the inside. We don't need fences on the inside. Is going to give us 38 metres of fence, and that allows me to order the things. Excuse my sniffing. The next thing we're going to do is circle. What if we have a circle? At the Whipsnade Zoo, they have a lovely circle with otters in it. Watch the otters for hours. Let's say the otters has 40 metres of fence around the outside. They all swim around the outside. They don't need to. I think there's about 5 of them. 4 of them they have to put heaters in for, but they don't have the baby one. They don't have to put a heater in because he's a little otter. Yeah, I'm not apologising. So we've got circumference equals pi times diameter, pi times diameter, pi times diameter. So we've got 40 times pi. Sorry, what am I talking about? 40 equals diameter times pi. 40 is the outside, and that's pi times diameter. Remember our inverses we did a few weeks ago. We divide, so 40 divide by pi. Remember, please, if you're year 5 and you're trying to cope with this and it's getting confusing, it's okay. You're year 5 or 6, it's okay to be confused by this. This is year 8 and 9. I'm trying to do bits for everyone. Remember, it's very difficult to do all the year groups. So 40 divided by pi is 12.7. Meters. That tells us what that is. But to find the area, we're going to now need to halve it to find what the radius is. And the radius must be 6.37. 36, sorry. We're going to put 6.36. I'm still keeping that in my calculator. I now want to do area is pi r squared, which is square that number times it by pi. Is 127.3 meters squared. Now again, this is year 9 stuff. I just want to make sure there's something for everyone in this thing. I've said it's from year 8 and 9 this is for. If you want to have a go at year 7 and year 6, that's absolutely fine, but please don't say in the comments, I couldn't keep up, it was too hard. It's supposed to be half and half, this lesson. The first bit was for everyone. This bit gets a bit harder, but hopefully people can follow it. Feel free to rewind and watch the video again. I'm going to check in and see if there's any questions. Here we are. So, let's head over to here. So that's the enclosure design. I want you to go away and design me a zoo. I've got animals to put in it. I'm going to need your help. My challenge to you is complete the zoo enclosure challenge. Send me pictures of your zoos with the animals inside. Then I also want you to research. In the comments below this video, I need people to research and tell me what each of these animals eat. At the moment, I'm giving them sausages and I'm giving them cheese. I'm hoping that's what you're supposed to feed them all, because all of them are having sausages and cheese. They don't seem to be enjoying it too much. I did give some Brussels sprouts to the elephant and he seemed to enjoy those. So can you please find out what each of these animals eats? Mention it in the comments so that I can then sort out the food for our lesson. We're going to have another zoo one next week, which will be a different aspect. It won't be enclosures next time, because we're going to build this zoo together in a mathematical way over the course of this summer. So thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You can always get more information from me in the usual ways. I've spoken to you. I've given you all the information I can give you. I've been Mr. Harris. You've been you and various different people. I will go back now to the numbers, because apparently I was in front of it like a silly. So here's the numbers. I'm always in the way. Sorry for being in the way. Here are the numbers you need. The giraffe, the zebra, the chimpanzee, the panda and the elephant. I do get in the way sometimes. That's because I'm really important. I think it's very important that I'm on the screen all the time. Okay. These are the information. Thank you very much for those people who let me know what they're going. These are the straightforward ones for all the years. You can try these if you're a younger year, but please don't panic or get upset if you can't do it, because it's supposed to be getting gradually harder. And then the numbers for the other bit are here. The ibex has 50 metres. But remember, you've got more information on the sheets about what each enclosure needs. So that's why I've done that. Hopefully I'm not in the way now, and you can all see what's going on. I shall leave this on the screen. I shall say my goodbyes, and I will do so like this. Bye-bye! And then I will go back to here, put that back on the screen, and say my goodbyes.